used to do a project for a CEO. I was insecure about my English. So what I did, I just tried to make my emails in Dutch, put it in Google Translate. The name of my CEO, her name is Snoop. It's Dutch for candy. So I replied to all of them with make a candy. So I got a call. You actually sent to a lot of people, my name is Candy. Yeah, that's the moment that I thought can I die somewhere?
Oh no.
Hello everyone, welcome to our show today. My name is John Drummond or Yang Haoen.
Hello, 大家好，欢迎各位再度来到 NG 英文，我是 Angela.
We have a great episode for you today with my good friend Pjotr, who is known around the professional community as Pjotr Steinmetz. My guest today is Dutch, but has been living in Taiwan for about 2 years now. He is the CEO and founder of Agile Academy Asia. He is a public speaker, an agile business consultant, personal coach, and so much more.
对，如果听众朋友你刚好在专案管理这方面有兴趣的话，那今天的内容想必不会让你失望，因为这次我们请到的来宾呢是 Agile Academy Asia 亚洲敏捷学院的创办人 Pjotr Steinmetz， 好，或是大家也可以就直接叫他 Peter。
So everyone, please welcome my good friend Pjotr.
Thank you. How are you doing?
What's up, brother? Welcome to NG Ingwen, my man.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, so you are doing a lot of mindset adjusting here in Taiwan, and you're doing it in such a cool way. You know, you're giving speeches, you're working with startups, you're working with governments, you're working with huge corporations, and that's a part of your own work, but a part of work with Agile, your company. And so I would love to dive into so many things, but before we begin, could you give a little self-introduction to our audience?
My name is Pjotr Steinmetz. I have a Russian name. It's actually Russian for Peter. So a lot of times I introduce myself as Peter, but of course I prefer Pjotr. That's my mom gave me that name. I'm the owner and founder of the Agile Academy Asia. Originally, we are a Dutch company. So we do this also in the Netherlands. But the Agile Academy Asia is now, I think we're 2 years in Taiwan, and we now have 1 year started the entity here in Taiwan. And what we do is we help companies with changing the mindset, with helping them to think more of customers, how to be more efficient. Yeah, it's basically really like changing the mindset of how doing business.
Yeah, and it's so great because the word agile is so fitting for that. You know, it's fluid, it's moving, it's flexible. And that's kind of what you're talking about with having that agile mindset. Is that correct?
Agile a lot of times is being seen as like a tool or a framework or something like that. And that's also the difficulty of explaining like what is the definition of agile. But agile is really a mindset. Is how do you think about your customers? So what we say within agile, you focus more on people. So your customers, you try to get feedback on what you're making. And also with agile, you're trying to add value to what you do every day. And what you see in a lot of companies, they actually have like long projects. Sometimes they take up to 6 months or 12 months. And what we say within agile is how can you, if you on that first day you have like a very great idea, how can you say that after 12 months, the customers still want that? So within agile, we actually looking at focusing on your customers, try to get feedback on that, but also that you're able to change whenever you can. So if I want you to make a black iPhone, and after 2 months, everybody is buying a white iPhone, then you need to be able to give me a white iPhone.
Yes, it's that flexibility and being able to pivot successfully, even in the middle of a project.
For me, it's really being relevant. Mm-hmm. A lot of companies don't understand that they're not selling something from them. No, you sell something for your customers. Your customers are the most important.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's market understanding. You know, you need to understand that's that supply and demand aspect of the market, and the market creates the demand for the products, and then you supply it. It's more of a demand supply situation.
Yeah, and I think just asking customers, sometimes people think it's dirty, but you can do it, and actually you will see that that customers actually like it when you ask them feedback because they get involved in the creation. I think one of the best examples is when Google tried to release their email service, Gmail. They actually started with a beta version. So basically they said to their customers, okay, this is a new thing that we're trying to do. It's not done yet. If you want to try it, do it. It's still not done. And then during that time, they actually add value to their email service. And because a lot of customers could give their feedback, it became one of the biggest email services in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I still use Gmail to this day.
Yeah.
And so thinking about the situation here in Taiwan, you've been working a lot with big established corporations, but you've also wanted to work more with startups and get in at the base level. So what have you been doing really within the startup scene here?
So there's a difference between a large enterprise and a startup. Is of course a startup is much more, let's say, it's scalable. And also because they're on the beginning of their journey, I think it's a good moment for them to really start to think, how do I organize my company? So what we do mostly with startups, we focus on how do you organize, or how do you do work? And the second thing what we do is we focus on product development. And that's what I said before is if you have a startup with a brilliant application, don't expect that exactly what is in your head, that is what your customer wants to use. So you need to, starting a company, you need to let go of your idea, because your product is going to be from your customer. It's not your anymore. So you need to be able to change that idea. And that, for me, that's product development. How do I really make a relevant product for my customer?
Yeah. And it reminds me of minimal viable product approach to, get something at least out, like a beta version of Gmail, as you said, and let your customers give feedback, and then you can change accordingly.
Yeah, and the most important thing is add value to what you do every single day. So as a company, you need to, at the end of the day, you need to look back and think by yourself, did we add value to our customers?
Yeah, that key takeaway, that add value to your customers. Yeah. And that creates a win-win,
Yeah, that's the core of your business.
Yeah, no doubt. So thinking a little bit about the future, as you did touch on a little bit of the future there, but do you have any future goals, though, with Agile or within yourself for Taiwan, and how you want to establish yourself more here?
I see my mission as an essential part. I don't want to say that I'm a person that's going to change the whole country or something like that. But I think that if Taiwan is not changing their mindset, in certain fields, they really will get into problems. And that is because Taiwan is not a very big country. So they also need to compete to other countries. So they need to be more agile and more flexible and more responding to the market. If you look back, like the last 2 years with the COVID-19, I think a lot of companies were not prepared on something like this. And I'm not saying that companies need to be prepared for a pandemic, because, I think nobody expected this, but you need to prepare yourself that you're organized, that whatever happens, you can respond to change.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think it would be beneficial for our audience to kind of understand, maybe can you give some examples? What are some limiting mindsets and what are some growth mindsets, and how they can think about that as we talk about it more?
So a digital transformation is very important in nowadays society, is that a lot of companies need to create digital solutions. This week I talked to the government and I told them, like, hey, digital transformation, you need to start as soon as possible with it. And basically the feedback that I got is, we want to do that, but we see a problem because there's maybe a group of people that cannot attach to digital transformation because they don't have a laptop, or they don't have a cell phone, or they don't know how digital products work. So without him knowing, he actually put people down. And what I see is that if you see that you need to have a digital transformation or something like that, you need to see the problem as a challenge. And that's also how you need to look into it. I also said to him, like, even if I need to personally teach elderly people how to use laptops, I think that's more important than not going into that change.
Yeah, well said. To kind of sum that up, you're saying he had that limiting belief, that limiting mindset of saying, hey, these people don't know how to use tech, so therefore we can't innovate. And I think, no, that's not the correct approach. It is, hey, let's figure out how to educate this certain population, and then we can innovate.
Yeah, and more important is the assumption that people cannot do something.
Yeah, which is just garbage.
Yeah, that's you shouldn't think about people. I think that elderly people, the only thing is maybe they're scared to start to use it. But I've seen in the Netherlands, I've seen like computer lessons for elderly people. Actually, they win a lot. They become more social. They maybe talk more to their family by social media. There's a lot of opportunities there. So always think in opportunities less than in problems.
Yeah, I like that. I love that growth mindset for sure right there.
访谈上半段这边，他们提到这间来自荷兰的敏捷学院呢，现在落脚台湾也有2年时间了，专门在引导企业转型，透过敏捷的思维模式呢，来提升改善公司的运作，让专案有更高的成功率。那 agile 这个字它本身的意思就是敏捷灵活，不管是脑袋啦还是手脚灵活都可以用这个字来形容。所以假如听众朋友你刚好就是做专案管理或是对这方面有研究的，就大概可以在这个字跟它背后所表示的这个商业思维模式做连结，就是说以灵活敏捷的方式呢，去跟客户沟通，了解客户需求，或是在商业市场上很有弹性，很会去做调整，以达到最终的我们的这个交易目标。像刚才他们举的当初 Google 信箱那个 Gmail Beta 测试版本就是一个很好的例子。当时 Gmail 还没有正式发行，但是因为已经有先推出了 Beta 的测试版，让有意愿的那个用户呢可以先去使用，所以这样子也可以跟这些用户收集使用心得，然后再去从那边着手去了解客户需求，而采取敏捷思维模式呢去做适时的调整，设计出最符合使用者的需求这样子。好，那我们来练习一下 agile 这个字。除了可以用在商业层面，用在专案的情境中以外呢，我们平常的手指灵活也可以说 agile fingers， 或者是像一个人或者是某只猴子动作敏捷，很会爬上爬下的话，就可以说他们是 agile climbers。甚至如果想要描述某个人思路清晰，头脑动得很快，这样子就转很快，那就可以用agile mind 来表示头脑机敏。再来，来宾有提到一部分是给台湾的一些建议。好，就是说因为我们本来就不是一个大型国家，所以如果想要有效的和别国竞争的话呢，那势必是要更 agile 更敏捷一点。好，对使用者对客户的反应要有所回应和根据情况来做调整，进而提升竞争力。像这2年肺炎疫情对经济的影响也不小，但就越是这种时候，公司越需要维持灵活敏捷的管理能力，去因应市场变化。他这边提到一点我个人觉得很重要的是，这种敏捷啊不只是一种能力，而是一种心态，一种愿意去调整适应的心态。好像之前他跟政府开会讨论数位转型的一些问题，结果得到的回应是政府他们觉得自己爱莫能助，因为不是每个人都有手机、电脑、平板这些东西。可是在 Pjotr 看来，这就是一种应该要去想办法解决的挑战啊，而不是好像就被这问题打败瘫在那边而已。这边我们提到的数位转型，就是刚才在访谈中提到的 digital transformation。另外一个是不时被用到的这个 limiting， 有一种使限制的意味在，表示有限的。像他们说 limiting mindset 就可以想成是有限的心态，有限的思维模式。就是指心态上好像有一种枷锁在，就是把你的思维模式困住这样子。或是如果你很挑食，那每次要吃饭的时候，能让你下肚的食物就会很 limiting， 很有限。好，那这段内容就先在这边告一段落啦，我们赶快继续听下半段的分享。
Awesome, man. Well, do you mind if we switch gears a little bit to talk about kind of the story of you? as I believe your story is a lot of your journey was in the Netherlands with music, and then now you find yourself here in Taiwan using Mandarin, using English, using Dutch. So take us on an adventure.
Yeah, it's an interesting story. So I originally I'm coming out of music business. So I started music management. I need to say during that time I already started to work for T-Mobile. Well, it was one of my first employees, but just as a call center agent over there. But I did music management, and I actually did that because I had the ambition when I was young to become to make music. I also made music. I released 2 albums. I don't want to say that I'm super famous or anything, but
Superstar.
You can still listen to my album on iTunes and Spotify. But with music, I didn't particularly like to perform or something like that. I liked the creation part more. But what I also saw is, and that's why I got into music management, is that the business side was for me more interesting. So how do you help creative people in basically making money with what they are very good in? And I think that's basically my approach still, is that creative people should create. They shouldn't be busy with business things. So I grow up with English. We actually, in the Netherlands, I think 90% of the people, they speak English and good English. Maybe a little bit of an accent, but everybody can speak good English. But I really learned English by doing it. And why I say is that is the first project I got at T-Mobile. I don't want to say I got a heart attack, but it was a English project, and it was a quite big project, and I didn't know that. And I was the one responsible to manage the first meeting. And it was an international meeting with different providers all around the world. I know that Vodafone was over there, T-Mobile, all were there. And I need to do it in English, because in large enterprises within the Netherlands, basically the first language is English. We all speak English. But coming from call center agent, I know how I speak English, but speaking English in a business situation, especially with, it was a quite IT-driven meeting. I know I got a heart attack. I was sweating there. Those people were talking about things that I never heard of. And then I remember that somebody told me that, okay, you can be in a situation that is very uncomfortable, and maybe you don't know the language. What you need to do, you need to push yourself out of your comfort zone and at least make one impression. And actually, what I did at the end of the meeting, sweating, just surviving, I made a very smart remark that it was very simple, that we should reconsider to do another meeting after this so we can have a little bit more details. And then somebody came to me and that person said, "You did a great job." I think that a lot of people here in Taiwan, they're afraid to speak English. Although they know how to speak English. Maybe they're not like top level, but you know how to speak English. And at the end of the day, a language is to communicate with each other, right? So me thinking that I was like doing the worst job ever, but after the meeting, somebody came to me and said like, "Hey, you're actually doing good." You know, and that's how a lot of Taiwanese people should do it, is you don't have to worry about your skill of English. You just need to do it. You're good enough. Believe me, with everybody that I talk here in Taiwan, they can speak English. And I'm always very happy because, you know, I'm in a different country. I'm on the other side of the world, in a country that speaks Mandarin, and those people speak English to me. And I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah. Very, very wholesome right there. And very good point too, you know, and taking us through that kind of journey of understanding that, oh my God, you were so tense and nervous, but you were trying your best and you kept going, you know. And I think that's excellent advice to everyone listening, is with whatever language you are working on, just trying and continuing on. And you never know, somebody might come to you and give you that approval, because we're just trying to communicate, like you said. No one's judging you.
No.
You know, we grew up with tests, and the test system with education here in Taiwan with language is so, it just hurts people because they think they're not good enough. But no, language is about communicating an idea. And yeah, so many of our Taiwanese friends do that. So well said. So what actually brought you then to Taiwan, and how did you decide that Taiwan was going to be the spot?
The story was that 2 years ago, we got a partner here in Taiwan that was not particularly an agile project, but we did an exchange project between companies in Europe and in Asia. And then we saw that there was a big opportunity for agile, and we already were checking that we wanted to set up a branch office in Asia, but we didn't particularly choose a country. So that's the first reason. We had a partner over here. But then we look around and we actually saw a lot of similarities with the Netherlands. So for me, I see the size of the countries is almost the same. We almost have the same amount of people. If you look to the attitude of Dutchies and Taiwanese, we're very picky in what we choose. And also what I see is that because your country is so small, you really need to think in bigger opportunities and innovations. And for me, I think we're now at the moment that Taiwan is getting into exactly that they need to be an innovative country.
Yeah, well said. And I think that's, as someone like myself who loves traveling to the Netherlands, nice comparison right there too, with, the way that the Netherlands has actually expanded itself. It is a global, it thinks globally. And I think Taiwan is now at that pivotal moment. Because of COVID, it got so much more global recognition. Now use that momentum and create the future here in Taiwan. Well said. Thank you. Yeah. So, now that you are using a bit of Mandarin, some Dutch, English every day, do you remember any memorable stories with language over the years?
It's actually not here in Taiwan, but it's actually in one of the companies that I used to work for. I used to be very embarrassed for it. I don't know why, because it's a small, funny story. But I used to do a project for a CEO. I was a quite junior employee, and they asked me if I could join this project, and I basically needed to assist the CEO at that company. And people across the company could send in improvements for the company itself. So very simple improvements for environment improvements in the building or something like that. And what I needed to do is get all those and put them in an Excel and then show them to her. And then she would say, okay, good idea, bad idea. And then I need to reply them. But it was actually in the beginning when I was insecure about my English. So what I did is, especially if I write back, I used Google Translate. So what I did, I just tried to make my emails in Dutch, put it in Google Translate, of course, check if everything is okay, put it in an email and send it back. So the funny thing is that the name of my CEO, her name is Snoop. And Snoop, I don't know if you know it, but it's Dutch for candy. So what I did is I think on one day I replied to all of them with, her first name was Marieke Candy. So I got a call or an email, I don't remember, later in the day. It said hey, do you have some time? I said, yeah, it's okay. I said, yeah, you actually sent to a lot of people that my name is Candy. What is also not the most pretty name, right? Candy. So yeah, that's the moment that I thought okay, can I die somewhere?
Oh no, that is I can imagine getting that call and realizing. Yeah.
I think it was. I think I just started maybe 2-3 months. Yeah.
Oh man, did she at least have a laugh about it with you, or
no? Actually,
she was very serious.
She was kind of cool, but I remember on the phone she was kind of serious, and then I believe after that I worked for the company 8 years, so
so it was all good. It was all
good. It was all good.
Nice, man. Yeah, nice story. I might keep that. That's actually kind of good story. I'll see if I can fit it in there. Awesome. Well, a question I'd love to end the show with here on NG Ingwen is, if you could go back and talk to your younger self, would there be any advice you give yourself about business, life, language?
For me, I think I actually worked a long time in corporate. I think it was a good idea to do that. But at the end, maybe a few years too long. If you have the mindset to start own businesses, you just need to do it as soon as possible if you really are interested in those kind of things. So I would advise myself to start quicker, push yourself more, think more out of the box.
Yeah, yeah. And look at you now. You're doing those things.
Yeah.
Well said.
Awesome,
man. Well, where can people find you online? Maybe some social media, LinkedIn, your company?
Yeah, LinkedIn, of course. Please add me. I'm quite active on LinkedIn. I try to share a lot. Of course, we have our website. So that's agileacademyasia.com. I have an Instagram account. I also like to make pictures and videos. It's Pjotr, my difficult first name. And if you need something, or I also help people with coaching, especially in career planning and those kind of things. If you have any question, please just send me a message, and I can see if I can help.
Beautiful. Awesome, man. Well, thank you for making some time out of your hectic schedule. I know it's been a busy week for you.
My pleasure.
And we'll talk to you next time.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, everyone.
下面到这边我们会讲荷兰文、英文还会中文的来宾提到说，他其实以前一开始除了是在美国的一间电信公司当电话客服以外，也有在做音乐，现在还是有在做啦，大家有兴趣的话可以去听听看他的作品。那刚才不是有提到他有做过电话客服吗？有一次他说差点心脏病把他吓死了，因为在荷兰虽然说英文教育是非常普遍，几乎人人都会讲英文，而且也都还说得不错，但可能大部分也都还是偏实用英文居多，所以之前在当那个电话客服的时候被点名要负责一个国际会议，就整个吓死，大家都在讲商用英文，讲 IT 英文的场面让他整个鸭子听雷。不过幸好在最后呢，因为提出了一个有建设性的建议，给大家留下好印象，也才没因为听不懂紧张而把事情搞砸。好，他说我们台湾有不少这样的现象，但是他做这个分享呢，就是要鼓励大家不要担心英文讲不好啊什么的，就是讲就做就对了。那刚才我们说这场会议主要是在讲跟 IT 有关的，不知道刚才各位有没有抓到他的这个说法 IT driven。好 driven 它在这里是字尾的用法，有一种受到驱使受到推动的意涵在，像如果今天你想要表达市场驱动，可以说 market driven， 好，或是 data driven 数据驱动，或是以数据为导向。其他类似的例子还有像是 reward driven 奖赏导向，好，或是履历上面很常出现但几乎都是老掉牙的形容词，可以不用写上去的，像是 results driven or goal driven 结果导向和目标导向。另外他还有提到以前啊，曾经因为用 Google 翻译他的 email 而把老板的那个名字就翻成糖果 candy 然后那个信还传给好几个同事，最后被老板看到整个就是囧到不行。所以大家如果需要用 Google 翻译的话，当然还是可以用啦，但是就是我们翻完之后呢，还是要检查一下，不要以为就是大功告成了。节目尾声这边 Pjotr 提到说，如果我们有想要创业的话呢，真的要趁早，不要一拖再拖，而且要多努力一点，要懂得跳脱传统思维框架，大胆的去发想创意。好，那希望大家都有从这一次的内容学到一些东西，有兴趣的话呢，找个时间去研究研究 Pjotr 他们的这个亚洲敏捷学院哦。
Bye bye, thanks a lot.
Bye. Peace. All right. Well, that is our NG Ingwen show for today. We hope everyone enjoyed listening to that. You can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and now Spotify. You can search NG Ingwen, or you can search on IG, NG English ICRT. And don't forget to tune in every Wednesday morning from 6:30 to 7, and Wednesday night from 9 to 9:30. We'll catch you on the next episode. Bye-bye.
好啦，今天的节目就到这边告一段落啦，感谢各位的收听，别忘了订阅我们的 Spotify 还有 YouTube 频道哦。那喜欢我们节目的话，也要记得到 Instagram 到 IG 上追踪我们哦。如果各位有什么其他问题是想要问来宾的，也请欢迎在底下留言告诉我们，我们一定会想办法帮你问到手。好啦，那就下周在空中相会咯，拜拜。